Analytics can tell us what happened, but it often struggles with the why. As analysts, of course, that job falls to us. And it's incredibly useful for us to be able to provide our own context and provide more background about what's happening with our site so we can do that analysis easier. So in this case, we're looking at the revenue report from the last video, but over a longer time period. We can look along here, and one of the things I see is April 5th. It looks like the revenue shot up on that day. It went from about $10,000 to all the way up to $60,000. But why? We're not sure. Was there a great blog post? Did Google run a particularly effective ad campaign for the merchandise store? Was that the day that the site went haywire and counted every visitor and transaction 5 times? We don't know. As we research this, we'll want to treat the answers to that with as much care as we treat this original raw data. Particularly if we work in a group where multiple people will be accessing the same profiles, we can use annotations to inform them of these events, changes, and perhaps explain some of these anomalies to the site data once we've done our research so we don't have to do it over and over again. Now, if you work in a group, that's obvious, but I will say that even if you work alone, these can be extremely useful to help you remember 6 months from now what you changed today, what happened, why, and what the results of that research was. So you, again, don't have to do that all over again. So to help you in that, we can add some useful annotations to this graph and help us remember those significant events. To do so, I'm going to click on this little drawer icon down here. It's going to open up the annotations drawer. We can see there are a couple here already. Some Google employees have added a few of these. One on July 1st, we can see that from the little annotation icon here along the graph, as well as one on August 2nd. Now, I have the ability to go in and create a new one. I can click over here, create new annotation. There's going to be a date on here. We were going to put in that April 5th date. And we can say here that there was a link to the home page in an email blast. Now there's visibility options here. We can do private. Private means that only the person logged into this account, so in other words, me, is going to be able to see these. So these are essentially a note to yourself. There's also shared. Shared means that anyone who has access to this profile is going to be able to view this. Now you see, we don't have access to do that on here because we don't have the right permissions. In order to create a shared one, you have to have the permission of collaborate or above on the entire view to add or modify these shared notes. We'll go into some permissions later, but you can always edit your own private annotations. Okay, so we go ahead and save that, and now we will have this annotation here for the next time we come back to this account and do this analysis. And we can use these annotations to document and show things like when the view changes were made. If we apply a filter, that's an important one. If we set up new goals, when we link an AdWords account, or if things in your business, like when you start advertising or when you enable e-commerce or make any other change to a view or account, you want to make sure you notate that here. We can also detect significant anomalies and maybe some of the possible causes. So if it's known, unknown, even suspected, any information that we have here that can help our future selves or the next person who is researching this, we want to go ahead and put that down. Annotations allow us to provide that context and the meaning to the data. It's going to save ourselves and our team a tremendous amount of research time, preserve that information for future analysis, and help us spot and explain some trends over time that may impact our business and our analysis, both for good and for bad.